been away for a while, trying to figure out, not really figure out, trying to, get some ducks in a row. My appearance looks a little bit different today. That's because I am transitioning into locking my hair. I started locking it in October, and it's going through that transitional phase, and I was able to get away with it for a while. I was surprised, but now it's starting to like get frizzy and stuff, and I need my hair to look a certain type of way for like the moves that I'm making right now. So I have it hidden underneath here, but no worries, we're gonna get into this video. I think what I want to talk about, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and it's a question that I get asked really often, and that's, why are you single? Like when guys meet me and they're like, oh, you seem like a cool girl, like you're cute, whatever. How come you're not married yet? Or, people from the past, they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, well, I would have thought you would have been married already, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know, like, it's like one of those things where society tells you that you're supposed to be married, and I think that's one of the things that I bought without realizing that I actually bought it. Like, I was never one of those type of girls. Like when I was a little girl, I was never the type to like fantasize about getting married and like, what is my husband gonna be like, and I want to have this many kids by this age. Like that was never my plan. Never. Even when I was young and you fantasize about what your life's gonna be when you get older, I never envisioned that. So I don't know where this like phase of, because I did go through a phase of like wanting a husband and wanting to be married and kind of looking for that, and like always finding myself in situations where it's like, this is not it. So like, I don't know, I guess that's a part of the journey. Like that's what it was supposed to look like and be like. But yeah, so like I'm just thinking back to like when I was younger, that was never a thing for me. I always like dreamt of like doing something big, like leaving my mark or whatever, leaving a legacy, but not necessarily a physical one, and in the form of like children. Like that was never a part of my plan. I did always want to leave a legacy, but I think that there are different types of legacies. Like we can leave spiritual legacies, we can leave legacies where people remember us through the things that we have done for others, through the impacts that we've made in other people's lives. And I think that is more important to me than leaving another human being here, who I can live vicariously through, when I can just live my life now. Like, why have a child and then hope that, maybe they'll get to do all the things that I wanted to do, or maybe they'll have a better life than I had, or maybe they'll, make the impact in the world that I wanted to make. Why can't I do it? Like, that's always been me. Like, I don't want anybody else to do it. I'm not gonna have a kid so they could do it, or they could take care of me when I get older. Like, I want to be able to take care of myself when I get older. I want to be in a position to, like, to be healthy enough that when it gets to that point when I'm older, I don't need to depend on anybody. I'm not gonna be sick. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not, and people make it seem like that's just inevitable. Like, you get older and you just get sick. Like, that's just what happens to people. No, because there are people, then how do we explain people who live to be 90 and are still doing for themselves? They live alone or whatever, or they're still, they're still taking care of themselves. How do we explain that? Because I really think it's 90% mentality. Most things are 90% mentality. Because your mentality is going to shape, of course, it's what you eat and how active you are and how well you take care of yourself and blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. But really it starts with your mind, because if your mental is in the position of, I want to be healthy and I want to be able to take care of myself when I get older, then your actions are going to automatically align. The universe is automatically going to align to whatever it is that you think whatever it is that you think and what you say you want for your life. You're the boss. You're in control. So yeah, that's just kind of like, a few of the things that have been on my mind lately. It's really loud out here, so I hope you guys, are able to hear me when I upload this video. I'm back in my hometown, so I'm back at like my favorite park where I always watch the sunset, and just kind of getting back to me, but with a different perspective, because I did move across the country, and I spent some time just figuring some things out, like I said at the beginning of the video. But anyway, let's get back to the why I'm single question. So the short answer is because I want to be. The longer version would be for a lot of reasons. Like, one being, I'm just gonna say like what just came to mind. People don't understand. I think that a lot of people don't understand what unconditional love like really is, and what it really looks like, and how to really practice it. And I just have come to the understanding and the realization that like maybe it's one of my responsibilities to like teach the people that come into my life what unconditional love really is. And I think that that's kind of where I went wrong in the past. Like, I expected people to be able to show that to me, not realizing that like I'm the one that's supposed to show people. Like, it's like when you have kids, like your parents, like they expect you to, behave a certain way towards them, not realizing that, or even just act a certain way, like act the way that they raised you or whatever, know better, like not understanding that they're the adult. So like, even if you do something as a child to your parents, for example, they know better because they're older, they have more experience, they had you. But a lot of parents act like their kids are just regular people off the street. Like, I hope you guys are kind of getting like where I'm coming from with that. Like, parents don't even know how to love unconditionally. Like, everybody takes things personally, everybody makes assumptions, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're still human even though we become parents, we're still human even though we get into relationships. But it's just hard for me because even as a child I understood certain things that I think even adults didn't understand. And like I said, it's hard because, well, it was hard because now it's like I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I'm looking at it from the perspective of I was granted this form of wisdom, or this level of wisdom, because it's my gift and it's what I'm supposed to be sharing with the world. And I need to understand that there's a reason why I have this gift and other people don't. And I can't expect other people to have my gift. I can't expect other people to behave or react or engage with me the same way that I would engage with them, because the lesson that I'm learning from them is different from the lesson that they're learning from me. Because if I'm there, like, let's say, because I'm not even sure that that's what it is, but that's kind of what I'm exploring right now. I'm exploring that as an option. I'm exploring that as a possibility. Like, maybe that's what my purpose really is, to show people what unconditional love is. Like, to show people like you don't have to do anything to get to earn love or to get love from other people. You just automatically, like, it's an automatic thing for me. Like, even the respect thing, like, people don't have to earn my respect. Just because you're a human being, you get it. And then you do some shit to me and it's like, okay, well, now you don't have my respect anymore and I cut you out of my life. So because that comes so naturally to me, I just have to, like, there has to be something to it. There has to be a reason, right? For me to be that way, because I've always been that way. So yeah, back to this unconditional love. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you guys like a relationship example, right? So I was dating this guy, And I wasn't completely over my, like, the guy that I was dating before that. There was situations that happened between us, and I just wasn't completely over them. I knew that I needed to be, because whatever did happen was like not something that I wanted to be a part of, which is why I walked away. But still, like, we have our feelings, we have our emotions about things, and we can't just turn them off because we realize that something is not good for us. Like, there's a whole grieving process that comes after that. Like, it's maybe it's not a grieving process, but it is a process. Like, you realize you get into a relationship with somebody, you like them, for some reason you fall for them, you have deeper feelings for them than you would for somebody else, and then they do something to hurt you, and it's like, now you have to make the decision between your own well-being and that person. And then you make the decision to go with your own well-being, however long that takes. For some people, it takes a little bit longer than others, and it also depends on the person. With some people, you can get over it a lot faster than with other people. So, however long that process takes, you realize, okay, I have to back away from this situation, even though I don't want to. But for me, I have to, right? So you do that, you back away. But then there's that whole, like, I didn't want you part is still there. Like, it doesn't just automatically vanish just because you walked away. Like, the walking away is like the initial step. There's still so much more to go through. So I was like just kind of going through like the process of just coming to acceptance of that, like, all of my expectations or all of my ideas of what I wanted that relationship to be, just getting over the fact that it wasn't going to be that. And so I meet this new guy, and I tell him, like, upfront, like, I'm an upfront person. I'm realizing that a lot of people aren't. And that was another thing that I had to, just get over and realize that, like, everybody's just not going to be that. Because I'd be like, yo, like, what the fuck is wrong with people? I would really be tripping. Like, what is wrong with people? Like, what? Anyway, so yeah, that was something that I really had to, understand and face too. But so yeah, I get with him, and like, I'm an upfront person, so I was just like, I'm not completely over my ex and everything that he did to me, and I kind of shared like everything that happened, fully knowing, because that kind of also goes into testing. I like to test people. I don't know if a lot of women do this. I have looked at like some videos on YouTube about like, advice from men to women, and some men do say that like high value women tend to test men. I don't consider myself high value or otherwise. I just know that ever since I was young, I've always tested guys. If not for anything else other than entertainment, just for my own entertainment. I remember being a little girl, like, wilding. I'm not even gonna go into like all the things that I did, but I was always testing guys, like show me what you're about, like show me why, because it's awesome over here in Rashida land. Like, I understood that from when I was young. Like, for me to share my space, my personal space with somebody else, you gotta be like fucking awesome. And then for me to like put a title on it and like commit, you really gotta be somebody like, and that's another reason why I'm single. Like, if you guys ever saw me, like, mark my words, if you ever saw me married, please know and understand that that man is a fucking, he like, God literally dropped him down from the sky. Like, he would have to be everything for you to see Rashida married. That man, just know that that man is everything that a man should be. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so unconditional love, I go with this guy. I told him, everything or whatever. So I'm like, basically, I said that because a lot of people will say, oh, well, you shouldn't share past relationship things with the new person because they're gonna come back and use it against you. I want them to. Like, I want to see if you're really gonna do that, because I don't do that to people. So that's another thing. That's how I test people, because again, in order to be with me, you have to kind of be like the same person that I am. I can't be with somebody who's like I just don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. Somebody who's not honest and upfront about everything, I don't get it. It does not make sense to me. I cannot flow with that. Like, that doesn't work for me. And I know that because I have tried it. I have tried to understand people who cannot be themselves. I've tried to be with people who can't do that. And oh, well, maybe, being around me, it'll rub off on them. No. It's just draining at the end of the day. It's just too much at the end of the day. I can't do it. So it's not that I can't do it. I can, but I won't. For what? For what? When I just said it's beautiful over here in Rashida land. I can be by myself and not have to deal with that stress. So anyway, right? That's another thing I realized about myself. Like, I'm hella fiery when I'm like back in my hometown. I don't know if it's that I'm like around my family again. But yeah, I'm hella like kind of like I take on a different energy. Like, I really take on the Leo energy when I'm back around here. But anyway, I keep getting kind of off track, but not really off track. So yeah, that's the reason why I shared that with him, to kind of see like where his head was at, test him, see what's going on. Because I have my suspicion. So when I'm testing, it's always to either prove or disprove a suspicion. And usually my suspicions are proven, which was definitely the case in this scenario. So, I kind of shared with him, and I specifically shared certain things to see what was going on with this guy. So I shared with him, what happened in that relationship, whatever. And, of course, typical, he played it cool in the beginning. Oh, I'm sorry that that happened to you. We could definitely take it slow, everything, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we start talking or whatever. And it gets to the point where I'm spending time at his house. And things hadn't become sexual because I purposely shared with him that, like, how I felt about guys who move too fast or whatever. So he's trying to impress me. So of course, he's trying to act like, he's cool with taking it slow sexually and whatever. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny to me. Like, it's so hilarious to me how easy it is to, I want to say manipulate, but I don't want to say manipulate because I know that has a it has a terrible connotation. But no, but like, it's just, anyway. So we're playing that little game or whatever, back and forth, and he says, I think I spent the night, like, I stayed over that night, and I shared with him, because we had shared some other moments where, we really opened up to each other. And I always look at any engagement with somebody like, I need to get something out of this, and it's not going to be like monetary, whatever, like material gain or whatever, because I can get that for myself. So if I'm going to engage with another person, I'm going to get out of that what I can't get if I were to be by myself, and that's a different perspective. So I always share with other people whenever I get the opportunity to, because I, like, you guys know, I spend most of the time by myself. So when I do engage with another person, I maximize on that. And I'll share, like, I want to get your perspective. I want to know how you see this. I want to know, so we really opened up to each other. And I really did gain, like, some things from it. So I wanted to see, like, how open I could really be with him. So I was like, we were laying in the bed together, and I was like, I'm not really over my ex. Like, I just can't, like, I'm not really ready for this to be this serious between us. And, just kind of being honest. Like, part of it was me testing him, but another part of it was just me being honest, really, about my feelings and my situation. And to me, a healing and loving and functional relationship with somebody, unconditional love, he would have been like, oh, well, Rashida, like, I get that. Like, I've been through situations where I wasn't able to get over that person. Like, basically be able to put yourself to the side and be there for that other person, even if it brings up feelings of jealousy, even if it brings up feelings of envy or whatever negative feelings it brings up. Being able to be in that space with that person and still be there for them. To me, that's what I need. And that's what I'm able to do for other people. So I wanted to see if he could do that, because he's talking a good talk, but you need to be able to prove it. So, long story short, even though this has been a long story, I'm not gonna say any more about what happened. But at the end of the whole situation, he ended up throwing that back in my face, and it ended up being like really, like, it ended up becoming a really, really, really bad situation. And he even mentioned, like, oh, and you talking about you miss him or whatever, that means you're thinking about him. Yeah, so what did you think, that I was gonna get in a relationship with you and forget all about him? Like, is your ego that fucking big that that's your goal in life, to get in the life of somebody and automatically make them get over their ex? Like, get the fuck out of here. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Seriously, that is weird. That is so weird. That's so weird to me. Like, what do you get out of that? What? Like, what type of satisfaction would that really bring you? That, what that says to me? That says that that person and so many people are used to being in relationships where it's just superficial. Like, it's just, oh, let me see how far I can get with you. Let me see how much I can play you and what I can get out of you, and vice versa. Like, that's what it seems like. That. And why would I abandon my nice calm lifestyle, my nice abundant lifestyle, for that? Why? For what do I get out of that? And then that made me start thinking, like, is that really what relationships are? Is that really even what having kids is? All of that shit is just starting to seem like really selfish and really egotistical and really, like, shallow. All of it is really like, it's really turning me off. I'm getting to a point now where it's like things are starting to matter to me a lot less. And I'm just like, I'm really falling into the art of detachment. Like, I'm really falling into, like, just understanding that nothing matters. I know Lauryn Hill made the song and we, like, listen to it, but are we really listening to it? Nothing, not a thing matters. None of it. It's just all here for us to learn and grow. And not even that, because learn and grow for what? Because we're all gonna die. I know that sounds cryptic. When I say that, my mom, she gets mad at me. She's like, oh, I think she thinks I'm suicidal. I think I was at some point, like when I was a teenager, because she raised me, and she raised me to be somebody who cares about everything. And that is just not functional in this world. This world is about learning detachment. It's about learning how to let go. Everything here is teaching us the importance of not holding on to anything. Yes, things are beautiful here. Family and love and and relationships and kids and whatever you want to have, whatever you want to do. All that is beautiful. But I think we come to a problem where it becomes an issue, and where people start wanting to, like, commit suicide and all of this different kind of stuff, is when we try to force what we want onto somebody else. Other people's decision to have kids, like, there are people who dream about having kids from when they're young, and that's because that's what their path is. They're meant to have a child, and they're meant to go down that journey. Maybe I've already done that, and maybe this lifetime I'm just meant to do something else. If we all came here meant to do the same thing, then what the hell would be the purpose of any of this? What would be the purpose? We'd all be the same fucking cookie cutter ass version of each other. Like, what would be the purpose if we all came here to do the same stuff? And to say that just because you did something one way, that somebody else should do it the same way, is just ridiculous. It's stupid. Like, the way that you did it is supposed to be perspective and nothing more, nothing less to somebody else. So, I don't know. Like, I think I'm answering the question of why I'm single, because I'm not going to say nobody else thinks this way, but most people don't. And most people think I'm crazy. And most people want to take advantage of me because they look at me and they see me and they think that I'm one way, and then they try to play their little games. Then they realize that I'm not that, and then it becomes, oh, you tricked me. No, I didn't. You need to stop making assumptions. You need to stop making assumptions. That's what this lesson is about. Stop making assumptions and get to know a person. Stop looking for what you can get and get to know a person. Stop avoiding the lesson and learn the lesson. Oh my God. Like, I'm really, I don't know. I took a break, and I didn't realize how much I was really, I guess, holding in or needing to say. And that's why it's coming out in this fashion, but it is what it is. I have different sides to me, as you can see. Like, underneath here, I'm a whole, like, dreadhead. And then, that's interesting. Because when I was thinking about it, and I was like, that this is what shape-shifting really is. Being able to adapt, being able to be a chameleon. Whatever situation you're in, you need to be able to not only play the part, but look the part as well. And like I said at the beginning of this video, this part of my journey, or this chapter, or this mission, requires me to look like this, professional and that type of stuff. And so that's what I'm doing. But clearly it's not who I really am, because it's making me aggressive. It's making me talk to you guys aggressively. It's making me like cuss and stuff, which I'm a cursor. Like, I like to curse, but I do it less in certain situations. I do it less when I wear my natural hair. That is funny. I do it less. I curse less when I'm, just chilling and being able to swim every day and just not having to, live in the matrix. But you know what? Like, true freedom is being able to, like, jump in the matrix and use it for what you need it for, and then jump out. And those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about, right? And those who don't, basically what I'm saying is, you got to learn how to adapt. I think the popular term is code switch. You have to know what's expected of you in every situation. and be able to play that part so that you can get what you want out of it. Everybody does it. And for a long time, I used to rebel against it because it seems like manipulation, and it seems like, being dishonest, and it seems like, you don't love yourself, or you can't be yourself, or blah, 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 all of this foolishness. It's really about understanding your power and knowing how to manipulate it and others and things to get what you want. That's what manifestation is at the end of the day. I'm not hurting anybody. Who am I hurting by changing my hair and looking a certain kind of way? No one. No one at all. Everybody benefits. The people who I'm working with, they benefit, and I benefit. I get my check. They get their services. And the most important part, I can live semi in peace because I don't have to deal with, the repercussions of being yourself in certain type of situations. Like, I'm trying to explain that in a way that to where it makes sense. Like, let's just keep it 100. Like, let's just keep it real. We're not yet in a place in society to where you can be 100% yourself, especially when you're somebody like me, and still be able to make certain kind of moves in the business industry. Like, in a let's not even say the business industry, because you can build like your business off of your own brand, and people will follow you and whatever. So let's talk about like the traditional professional industry, because that's where I come from. That's what I was raised to be a part of. So that's always going to be my default. That's always going to be my money maker, until it's not. But for right now, that's what I always fall back to. That's where I make my capital so that I can invest and get my my interest. And then later on, once the interest grows, then maybe we could talk about me being 100% who I am all the time. But for right now, that's just the move that needs to be made. And that's another reason why I'm single. Let's kind of transition into that, because men feel like, and now I see why, like back in the day, women taught men, like it was understood, you never talk about a woman's appearance, like you don't go on a woman's purse. Like, I understand now why those things were so important, why those things were ingrained into men's minds. Because now that they're being able to make their opinions about things, they have a whole lot of fucking fucked up ass opinions about things they have no idea of what's going on. Like, I've had men talk about my hair like, oh, I want you to wear your natural hair, and I like your natural hair, and blah, blah, blah. And then I've had men judge me for wearing my natural hair. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's none of your business. It is none of your business what I do with my hair. And you have no right, no place, no reason to talk to me about what level my self-esteem is on, depending on what my hair looks like and how I carry myself. If I decided to wear makeup, that's none of your business either. I was gonna say fucking, but I'm trying. Like, I'm not trying, but I'm being more mindful of when I curse and why that energy comes out. Not that I want to stop. I just, I'm more curious about why I do it sometimes and why I don't do it sometimes. So anyway, it really has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Like I said, I just explained to you. It's understanding. Like, I think feminine energy is allows you to be able to shape shift. I keep saying shape shift. Feminine energy allows you to shape shift. And shape shifting is not this magical, weird ass thing that the media portrays it to be. It's something that everybody is capable, and really all it is understanding how to look and play the part so that you can manifest what it is that you want into your life. Point blank, period. Has nothing to do with your identity and who you are as a person. Because at the end of the day, let's even take it a little bit further for all of my Game of Thrones fans. Arya, when she decided to be the no name, when she went into that whole no name thing, that really comes from like abandoning your identity and just understanding that you are a many-faced God. You could be whoever you want to be in order to manifest whatever you want to manifest. But because we keep sitting in this fucking matrix and letting people tell us like, oh no, if I identify you as a black person, then that's who you're supposed to be and that's how you're supposed to act. And this is the fucking bubble and the box and the label that you need to subscribe to. And it's like, we don't realize that that's keeping, like, that's true slavery. That's keeping us bound. That's keeping us in this. That's what the Matrix is. That's what slavery is. That's what all of this stuff is. That's slavery of the mind. And then once you're enslaved here, then you're enslaved physically. And that's why that shit was even able to happen. Why they were even to put anybody on the ship and bring them anywhere. Or chain anybody up and force them to do anything. Because they were already enslaved in their mind. And there's plenty of works and plenty of publications that say that. So at the end of the day, that's what it truly is. We don't have to be bound to one ideal, one identity, one person, one version of ourselves. If y'all choose, you know what? If you guys want to do that, go ahead. Okay? Go ahead. I'm just not going to. And most importantly, because that's always been me, I was never going to. But the most important takeaway from that is I have come to a point in my life where not only am I not going to, I'm at peace with the fact that I'm not going to. I don't want to fit in. I don't want to do what everybody thinks that I'm supposed to be doing. And all of that is okay with me right now. I don't need anybody because it was okay with me, but I was like, I had this hope in the back of my mind that maybe, you know, people might, if I keep doing it long enough, maybe people might change their mind and they'll accept me one day, or they'll, you know, just allow me to just be who I want to be. No, nobody's going to allow it. You got to make them. And how do you make them? By being okay with it yourself. And so that part of it doesn't have to be obvious to everybody. Like right now, I'm playing the role as a professional, but is that really like me 100%? No, it's just a version of me. It's just just a costume that I put on, and then I take it off when I don't need it anymore, and I put it back in the closet. And then I pull out my favorite costume. What would be my favorite costume? My favorite costume would be Hippie Rashida. I think that's my favorite costume. Hippie nomad Rashida, who just hops around from one country to the next and doesn't really live anywhere and just goes swimming and meets all kinds of people and just lives her life the way she wants to live it. That's my favorite costume. But I have other costumes that I pull out every now and then, and it is what it is, right? So yeah, that's why I'm single. Now, if I were to find a man, like I said, I'm sure, because if I exist, then he exists. So he's out there somewhere. And, you know, we're going through the same type of lessons. And eventually we'll meet. Maybe we have already. Who knows? But yeah, like, I'm just I'm just chilling. Like, so, you know, that happened with that situation. And then I met another guy after that, and he asked me the same question. And he was like, I played a game that I probably have never played before. And that was the, just play it mysterious. Don't disclose anything. Don't be your open, honest self. Just kind of, let them talk and just sit back and observe and listen. And so I played that game with him, and eventually it took 2 days of us talking. Not even the first day he was asking, he was mentioning you don't talk a lot, I want to everything about me, you've been letting me talk and you haven't said anything really about yourself. And I made him wait a couple days, and then he finally was like what do you want? He had to ask me, he was like, I don't know, what do you want? What are you looking for? And basically my answer was, I'm just looking for an opportunity to practice my relationship skills. That's what I said to him. And he looked at me like I'm crazy. Just like you guys are probably looking at this video like I'm crazy. Yeah, that was my response. Because it's the truth. What else would I need from him? What else would I need from anybody else? What? Now, I've answered that question so many other ways, so many other different times. But like I said, at this point in my life, I have no other answer. I'm just looking for an opportunity to practice my relationship skills. Whatever comes out of that, comes out of it. I'm open to whatever comes out of that. Now, if that's kids and whatever, we might have to have a conversation. And that's another thing. I kind of wanted to make a separate video about this. But can we just talk for a moment about how men trap women with pregnancy, trap women with babies, and then make it seem like it's the woman that's doing that? Let's really think about it for a moment. The woman has to carry the child. She could possibly have to go through morning sickness and all these other sicknesses and all these other diseases, or she can have a really beautiful pregnancy. However it goes, she has to make the sacrifice. Share her body with a growing thing for 9 months. All kind of shit could happen to her. She could possibly die. She makes that sacrifice for this man to bring his child into this world. Then, after the 9 months, she goes through however many hours of labor to push this child out. Again, could possibly die. Again, all of these complications could possibly happen. What sacrifices is he making in all of this? Crickets. I hear crickets. What sacrifices is he making? Is he going through morning sickness? No. Is he worried about possibly dying? No. Is he worried about it possibly hurting, all the pain that's going to happen? No. Is he worrying about whether or not he's going to be a great dad? Maybe. A great parent? Maybe. That might be one of the only things that he really has to deal with. And I'm sure, I'm not minimizing the things that dads go through or whatever. They go through their own set of things. But to sit there and claim that it's all on women, only women trap men with babies. No. I'm here as living proof. And I'm sure it's happened to plenty of other women. So many men have tried to trap me with a baby. So many. And I said this to this guy once. I was like, why are you trying to trap me? And he was like, you talking to me like a dude. And then he brought up the whole fucking stupid ass shit that men are talking about now, where women are masculine, and we were bringing on all this masculine, we're acting like men and blah blah blah. But that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. I told you I don't want to have a child, and you're moving like you're trying to get me pregnant, and then you're asking me whatever, when we had sex or whatever, I came inside you and whatever, so you need to go see if you're I told you I don't want to have a baby. We don't need to be having this conversation at all. Point, period. On the off chance, on the 0.07% chance that I was pregnant by you, I would not have it. If you let's just go there. Because these men are getting, like I said before, they're getting out of hand. They're getting out of hand. yes, you have rights as a parent or whatever the case is, but I'm taking on 80% of the risk by getting pregnant by you. And I didn't even talk about the rest of it. Okay, so let's say, you know, you make it through growing the baby for 9 months. Then you make it through pushing them out or being cut open and having them taking the baby out. Right. You get through all of that. Now the baby's here. Then you run the risk of him running off and leaving you to take care of it. Or staying and abusing you and your baby. Or staying and cheating on you and abusing you and your baby. Or staying and he might even like take care of you and the baby, and it might be a great situation or whatever the case is. On the off chance, because let's not sit up here and pretend like it's commonplace for a woman to have a baby and shit is just daisies and sunflowers. 9 times out of 10, some stupid shit is gonna happen that she's gonna have to deal with. What woman in her right mind would really go through all of that for somebody who she didn't like, who she's not making an investment in, who she didn't at the very least love? I don't know who. What woman would really go through all of that for the sake of trapping some man? And then what kills me is the men who talk about being trapped don't even have shit. Listen, if I'm gonna go, like, honestly, let's talk real talk right now. If I were to trap some man into being with me with a baby, right? It's going to be a rich man, and I'm not talking about like couple $100,000 in the bank rich. I'm talking about rich. I'm talking about Bill Gates rich. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos rich. I'm talking about generations. Your kids will be well off rich. That's the only reason. That's the only way I'm trapping a man with a baby. And even then, I still wouldn't, because I don't want any kids. But at the end of the day, that's the only way it would make sense. So then how are these men who like live off of women talking about being trapped with babies? Make it make sense, please. So that's another reason I'm single, because men are out here trying to trap people. And I probably shouldn't upload this, but I'm going to for shits and giggles. I'm going to, just for the hell of it. Because yeah. You guys get to see the other side. One of the other costumes Rashida has. But yeah, all jokes aside, like, I just... Things are just so simple and so clear for me right now. Like, why complicate that with a man? No. The way, like... And I'm only saying that because up to this point, all the options that I would have are just not cutting it. And that, I think I'm gonna end with this idea that lets me know that the things that I have been manifesting, or the energy through which I have been manifesting, hasn't been true to who I really am, because I haven't brought my person in yet, the person who I feel like matches me. And that's because I haven't been being my true authentic self. And I think I said to somebody like the other day, like I met this guy, I was going to the beach or whatever, and I met him like as I was transferring, because I took the bus to the beach. Just more simple that way. You don't have to find parking, you don't have to deal with the traffic and all the craziness. So I just jumped on the bus, and in transfer I met him, and we were talking, and he was basically like saying all of the things that at one point I had manifested, right? when I was in my phase of like, oh, I want a husband and this is what I want him to look like and say, and this is what I want it to be like, and he's gonna propose and he's gonna want to be with me and blah 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 blah. So I knew that he was what I had manifested because he was saying all the things, right, that I had said that I wanted to hear. But now that I'm in a different, like I have a different perspective on it, like I'm realizing that what I had manifested wasn't really what I really wanted. And if you guys watched my video, I also said that about where I was living at the time. Like I had manifested this really nice apartment and I was not happy there. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is going on? Am I ungrateful? Like, what is happening? And it's because I was manifesting things that I thought that I wanted, that other people told me that I should want, and it really was not what I wanted. So when he came, it's like I really just had to, it was beautiful because I was given the opportunity to see an angle on it or a perspective on it, because he was like this, because I kept asking myself, like, why does the same guy keep showing up with different faces? Like, that's the question I've been asking myself the last couple years. And it's like, you know, the pattern like exposed itself to me a while ago, and I've been asking the question, but like lately I've been like really like, what is going on? Like, before I was like, okay, something's up, but I thought that I still had control over it. Like I was still trying to, I was like, okay, well then let me just manifest something else. So, but you know, what I was manifesting still wasn't what I wanted. But now at this point, it's like, I'm trying to, because I don't want to hold this phone, but I don't like this angle either. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, I like this. I like cute this angle. Yeah, so I was like, you know, I just need to manifest something else. I need to change my perspective. So I did, but things are just different now. It's like I'm seeing things through a totally different lens. And I was able to see it, and I like told him, like, you know, this space that we're in right now is really beautiful because I'm realizing that you're everything that I manifested, but I was manifesting you through a energy of desperation and loneliness. And that's why I manifested you, because you're in an energy of desperation and loneliness. And the only reason that I thought I wanted those things is because I was desperate and lonely. Well, lonely, and then that made me desperate to not want to be lonely anymore. And so now that I'm at peace, like truly at peace with being alone, truly standing in what it is that my purpose is, I can see things for what they really are and not allow somebody who is operating out of a, because that like lonely energy, it goes and comes for me. Like I don't live in it, right? I don't know whether other people do or not, but I know for me, it just comes in waves. And when it comes in waves, I need to understand that I shouldn't be manifesting in that energy. But that's usually what happens. Like the loneliness comes, and then that's when you're like, I gotta do something about it. Let me manifest something better. But you're manifesting out of that lonely energy. And so you're gonna keep attracting people who are manifesting, who are vibrating on that same frequency. Even if you're no longer, like, let's say you get over the loneliness and you're like, whatever, it's cool. They are still going to be in that. So now that I'm saying that, I'm thinking about it, maybe it does come in waves for everyone. It has to, right? Because emotions are fleeting. They're not permanent. They don't make a person. Like, just because you were lonely today doesn't mean that you're just a lonely person. But society, the matrix, will make us believe that because because it only accepts the idea that there's only one identity that a person can be. So if you're lonely, that's just who you are forever. And that's depressing as fuck when you really think about it. Like, imagine being lonely forever. No, that's something that comes and goes. That feeling comes and goes. one moment you're like watching Netflix and you're like, shit, like I wish somebody was here that I could watch this with. And then you're doing something else and you're perfectly fine. Doing something that you really love and you're like, okay, well, I'm cool. Like I don't need to be around anybody else. I don't know if most people feel that, but I do. I go through phases where I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to share this with somebody. But now it's just like I'm shedding that more and more and more and more. And yeah, I'm just in search of freedom and finding it. And it's beautiful because I'm excited for this next chapter. I got some big things in the works. And I'm realizing that everything that's happened to this point in my life is preparing me for this moment. So I'm excited for it. So yeah, I did say that this was the last thought that we were going to talk about. So I am going to get off of here. But hopefully in too much more time, like three weeks won't pass again before you guys see me again. But we'll see.